Hi, today we'll be talking about solubility again. Solubility. So let's say you have two sugar molecules. We have one sugar, not sulfur, sugar, to another sugar. Now they have intermolecular forces in between them, in between these sugar molecules. And when you put it into water, what the water does is H2O in water breaks the intermolecular forces in between them, which causes them to be dissolved. Now, in molecular compounds, the intermolecular forces break when placed in water, and ionic compounds would split into ions. Ionic compounds dissociate in water. And now what is dissociate? This means breaking into ions. So ionic compounds will break back into water if they're soluble. So let's see, NaCl, this will break into Na pluses and Cl minuses when placed in water, which gives us salt water. And now metals and nonmetals do not dissociate in water. The water cannot break the intermolecular forces between metals and nonmetals, which makes them insoluble. And then dissolving a substance is basically breaking the IMF, as we said. Now, in biology, you should have learned something called like dissolve like. Now, that is not sufficient enough in chemistry, so we're gonna specify as saying polar substances dissolves polar substances. Nonpolar substances dissolve non-polar substance. On a free response question, if you explain why something dissolves, you cannot say like dissolves like. This is not chemistry level. You have to say polar substances dissolve polar substances, or nonpolar dissolves nonpolar, depending on what you're dealing with. And finally, let's do an example over here, all right? We have C3H7OH being dissolved. So let's do an example. Will C3H7OH dissolve when placed in water? So let's see here. First, let's draw the Lewis structure for C3, 1, 2, 3, OH. I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let me count the valence electrons real quick. 3 times 4 plus H, 7 times 1 plus O, which is 6 plus 1. So 26. Now we have there, boom. Now everything has, now this is the proper Lewis structure. And let's see here. Is this polar? Well, there is polar because first of all, there's dipoles. And second of all, not all surrounding elements are the same. So this is polar. And now we also have water, H bonding to an oxygen with dipoles. This is how you draw water, because both of these has 8. There's a total of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. Now this is also water. This is also polar because of the lone pairs and the dipoles. So this is also polar. Now the question asks, will this be dissolved in water? And it will. Why? Because our C3H7OH will be dissolved when placed in water, because both of them are polar, and polar dissolves polar. And that is your explanation to why this will be dissolved in water. Thank you for watching.